So we're going to be talking about absolute values still, except by the fact that it says multi-step, you can kind of guess that there's going to be a few extra steps today, which I think we're going to still be okay with because yesterday you guys rocked that assignment. You did really well at it. It's not going to be that much different. The only thing that's going to be different is there's going to be extra stuff on the inside. Okay? And I kind of mentioned that to you guys yesterday as we were solving them. It's what's going to happen. Yeah.
I want a coffee.
All right, here we go. So you're going to see things like this where there's stuff in between, and it's kind of confusing, so I'm going to go over it up here. It's the same thing. It's very similar, I guess, to saying the absolute value of x equals 3. There's just extra stuff in the middle. So instead of saying x equals 3 and x equals -3 like we did on our last notes, we're going to say from 0, 1, 2, 3, 2x plus 5 equals 3, or 2x plus 5 equals -3. So it's just there's a little extra stuff there. Instead of just x, there's a 2 and a 5 there also. But the idea is the same, that this statement means that whatever's inside can either equal 3 or -3. And that just means we have 2 equations to solve. Okay? And I'm going to show you 2 different ways you can do it. But basically, since this part's the same, you're going to solve them both in the exact same way. Okay? It's just a matter of do you want to solve them at the same time, or do you want to solve one equation and then the other one? And that's just more of a personal preference thing. So, this is the same as yesterday. I'm just reminding you. First thing you're going to do is isolate the absolute value. Get it by itself. Okay? You're getting rid of everything outside. Today, there's actually an inside. So make sure you're only getting rid of the stuff outside the two bars. Okay? You can kind of think of them like parentheses. Get rid of everything outside the parentheses, so to speak. Then, we're going to want to set it up as 2 equations. And just like we said in our bell ringer, those 2 equations are one positive and one negative. And I will pause right there for you real quick. I see some people very frantically writing. I will give you a second. Okay. And we've now written those first 2 steps twice. So hopefully that part's kind of trying to sink in a little bit. The last step that we're adding for today is to solve for x. We didn't have to do that yesterday. It was already ready to go. Today we do have to do it. So at the very end, you just have to do an extra solving step. And remember that some absolute values have no solution because absolute values cannot equal a negative number. And if instead of writing number, you want to write basically like hashtag for you guys, that instead you can. You want to write the word, that's fine too. Okay, and that's what we're going to go for. Isolate it, set it up as 2 equations, solve. Isolate, kind of split it up, solve. That's what we're going to do every single time. This isolating part, though, is the most important because you can't split it up until you've done this. And that's the only piece that you have to do specifically in that order. Okay? When we come down here to solving, you can kind of start solving it in whatever order you like, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. Okay, so here's our first example. Which of the numbers are outside the absolute value? Yeah, -7 and 13. So we're going to move that negative 7 to be over there with the 13. That's what I mean by isolating. Negative 7 plus 7 crosses out. Keep that 4x plus 3 inside the absolute values. And then 13 plus 7 is 20. Okay. And then this is where we can't do anything else because everything else is inside the two absolute value bars. So we split it up. 4x plus 3 equals 20. And 4x plus 3 equals negative 20. And this is the part where everybody groans a little bit because guess what? I just made you take one equation and turn it into two. But they both have 4x plus 3. So to save us a little time, what we can do is, what we're going to do first on the left is subtract the 3 from both sides. 20 minus 3 is 17. I can go ahead and do that on both equations. Because if it's happening over here, it's going to happen over here too. The only difference is, over here you're subtracting 3 from negative 20, which is negative 23 instead of 17. And that's where you can kind of save yourself a little time. So you have to think a little bit less. If you know you're subtracting 3 over here, go ahead and do it on that one too. And solve them both at the same time. Because now all I need to do, this is 4 times x, so we want to divide by 4. And 17 divided by 4 is either 17 fourths or 4.25. If you did it in the calculator. Okay, and this one does not have a super nice answer. That's alright. The other one doesn't either. Because when I divide negative 23 by 4, it's going to be negative 23 fourths or negative 5.75. That's it. So notice how my answer is not the same thing. I got 4.25 and negative 5.75. So they're going to be a little different today. They're not always going to be the same number. It's possible for them to be the same number, but they're probably not going to be on most questions we do today. Okay. Are we ready for the next one? Okay, I don't want to zoom past anybody. Okay. On the left side of the equation, which parts are outside?
3 and 8.
Yeah. 3 and 8. So we got rid of them. Doesn't matter what order you get rid of them in. However, if you decide to divide by 3 now, that's where you're creating yourself some ugly, ugly fractions. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do the 8 first. Um, 20 minus 8 is 12. Then I can divide by that 3 to get rid of it. And I haven't split it up yet because I didn't have the absolute value by itself. 12 divided by 3 is 4. These two crossed out. Now my absolute value is by itself, so all I have to do is say that x plus 5 is either 4 or negative 4. Black marker is just really not feeling life today. got the Friday sluggishness. And then we just subtract the 5 from both sides. Well, not just big. 4 minus 5 is -1. That's one answer. And subtracting 5 from -4 is going to give us -9. It'll show up eventually. I'm sorry, I know it's lagging. Whew. It's almost Friday.
I have an alcohol wipes so you can clean your calculators.
Awesome.
Yep.
That means we can actually start using them. Okay, what is outside of the absolute value? Nothing. So you actually don't have to do that first step. This is one where you can just split it up from the beginning. X plus 2 over 3 equals 5. And x plus 2 over 3 equals -5. Let's start playing a game of how far can this move down, get away from the board before it finishes. Okay, and then there's a fraction. How do I get rid of it? Multiply. 3 times on both sides. And I'm actually just going to show this. I'm doing it on all of them. Because if you have to do it to one equation, you're going to have to do it to the other equation too. Sorry, that 3 is kind of dirty. I'm not going to try and fix it because it'll only make it worse. 5 times 3, 15. And over here, -15. Nice. And then subtract the 2's. 15 minus 2 is 13. And -15 minus 2, be careful. If you have -$15, you'll spend 2 more, say on a credit card, -$17. And I forgot to box it. I'll just make one big, really bad box. Oh, it didn't get there. Okay. Last one. Okay. What's outside? 7. Move it, and then you're allowed to split it out. 3 minus 7. We actually haven't had a bad smart board day yet, so. Okay. What's slightly different about this than all the others?
It's negative.
It's negative, which means
No solution.
no solution. Hooray! We don't actually have to solve this one. Which is good, because if we did, it would end up being decimal/fractions again. All right, there we go.